Super Garden, proudly sponsored by Woody's DIY and Garden Centres and Growwise from Bord na Móna.
In 5 weeks, one of these amateur garden designers will join the professionals at Ireland's premier garden show. Their challenge: to design and build a garden. And the best will then be recreated at Bloom to represent Growwise and Woody's DIY at the show. Agata Mocior from Dublin is our third designer, and she is transforming a garden in Maynooth, which belongs to Anne-Marie, Niall and their Labrador, Marley.
We did the usual stuff. We painted the wall, we put up the shed and painted that, but that's plain and boring. This is our chance to go for something that's fantastic and inspiring.
Agata has come up with a design that will turn the garden into a wow, funky space.
In my mind, I can see it. For some people, it's very hard to understand actually what I'm trying to build in their garden.
The client is looking for a real wow factor, but I'm not getting a sense of that from the drawing at the moment.
She hopes that Super Garden will give her the chance to showcase her skills in Ireland for the first time.
It's a huge skill to design a garden in a modern, contemporary way. So far, I finished my degree with the honours. That means that maybe I have that ability.
With 4 days to go, Agata is really up against it. She's had to bring in a second digger to move clay, and this is another extra cost. Digging down for the shed was not part of the plan, and Agata has nothing in her budget to deal with the resulting steep ramp. To save money, she is salvaging rocks to use as a hardcore bed. As the clock counts down, homeowner Anne-Marie is feeling Agata's pain.
Yeah, I can see the pressure in her face, but I'm not getting too pressured because I have 100% faith in Agata to finish it.
Agata's getting through her checklist. It's time to paint the boundary walls. And a painting of a different kind, a monochrome version of an original piece by Agata's fiancé, Jerry.
Anne-Marie and Niall said they would love to stand in the kitchen and just stare at it day and night.
€2,500 worth of tiles are going down in a rush. And lastly, the plants arrive.
These are gorgeous, aren't they? Primulas. Love them.
Self-seeding Primula denticulata will provide late spring colour in the beds. From her budget of €6,000, Agata is spending €1,600 on plants.
It's very heavy but nice though.
She's planting Buxus sempervirens at the corners of her borders in an attempt to keep Marley out of the bed. Unfortunately, the alliums purple sensation are late to flower and may not be ready for the judges. Agata is hoping for that wow factor with single stem Betula jacamontii or white stem birch. At €175 a piece, they make a big dent in her budget.
Oh, I'm delighted. It couldn't be better. They're just what I wanted.
The rules of the competition require the designers to include vegetables in their garden, but Agata has left them off her order. It's 2 days before the judges arrive and all hands are on deck. Design mentor Mary Reynolds is back in the garden.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Here it is. A little bit changed. No, girl, we're here to plant. What's the story? Oh no. It's still building site. Oh God, you must be demented. What are you going to do? I'm going to finish. I know it looks like a mess because like everything is all over the place. Where's the water feature? It's not here because the budget doesn't allow us. Part of the skill of being a designer is designing a realistic garden within a budget though. And time scale. You knew your time scale. It's very disappointing for you, I'm sure, that you're not at a point where it's ready for planting. No, I didn't expect that to be ready for planting for today. Like I have so many friends here and there is a good few on the way to help me and they will be here tomorrow as well. So, okay, we'll do it, you know? Yeah? Okay, well fair play to you because I have never seen a garden at this point be done for a deadline. I got an awful fright when I walked into that garden really. I kind of thought, I just presumed she would have been at a finishing point, you know? It looks more like a midway point. There's just way too much left to do. Hello.
A combination of ambitious design and changes to the original plan have cost Agata money and valuable time.
Because when you are walking the garden, sometimes you just find out that there is there are some just changes which is better to do instead of...
I don't agree. I think if you're a good enough designer, you need to get it right. You can't go back and go, oh, I forgot there was a level change here, or any of those things. You need to get it right.
That's true. You have to.
And you don't need to change things if you get it right, you know? If you listen to the brief, listen to the budget, and you get it right, the judges are going to come in, they're going to see your original design, and they're going to see the deviations from that plan. And so for them, that's a negative, you know? So you better be really ready with your answers for them, and you can pull it back. I mean, you know, just be ready for them, you know?
Okay.
She's bitten off way more than she can chew. Like, way more. I mean, she was going to leave out a lot of the elements initially, but she decided to go and do them all, and then she ended up leaving out the water feature. I don't know. It was so ambitious. I just don't know if she can pull it off.
As darkness falls in Maynooth, Agata and her crew are gearing up for a long final night. The birch have been positioned around the patio, and the tiling is being finished by floodlight. After weeks of back-breaking work, she's hundreds of euro over budget and running on empty. But Agata's work is far from over. She still has to plant, lay the lawn, and put the finishing touches to her super garden.
So I think it should be finished at 2, maybe 3 in the morning. I hope.
Can her dreams of going to bloom still become a reality?
Yeah, I need 5 here, please.
5 weeks ago, this was Agata's blank canvas to create her super garden. After an all-night marathon and major changes to the plan, this is her garden. The judges view the garden for the first time. Tim, Gary and Paddy carefully inspect the planting, structure and features. It's the final part of the challenge for Agata. She must face the judges in the garden she has designed and built.
Agata.
Yes.
Do you think the garden is properly finished?
I think there is few things which I would.
I came up with about 8 or 9 in a matter of 30 minutes. So is it acceptable to have loose tiles, missing grout, breaks in edging? Quite a few small things I saw that really do have a big impact.
Yeah, these things should be correct, and they will be correct.
Tim is worried about the steep ramp to the shed.
That slope should be maybe no more than 1 in 12 for safety reasons.
Yeah, I do know that. I know that it's actually quite steep. I thought it's gonna work out not as steep as it is. But because of the budget, because we couldn't use some other materials to build it in a different way, it's just the way it's built.
Paddy likes the drama in the contrast of the wall with the birch, but is worried the planting impact will be short-lived.
I think it's weak, the planting. You have a lot of very beautiful primulas, a lot of alliums, but they'll finish flowering relatively soon.
Yeah, that's true, but it's also the show garden. So what we are trying to achieve here is it's just the best look really for now.
Is it suitable for Marley? We know that their pet is very important to them.
I was trying my best, and I think it is. While we were building the garden, he was actually spending some time with us, and he was so excited that he's getting so many different areas in the garden, so many different levels.
Tim has a question about the feature wall.
I was actually expecting a water feature to be in that position. Could you explain the painting and how it works in the garden?
From the very first moment when I walked into that garden, I kind of knew exactly what I want to see here, and that was that wall, and that was the painting in the middle, and that was water feature kind of underneath. But then we had to calculate the costs, and I decided that water feature is actually too expensive.
What about the frowning men? You know, it's like, I feel it's a little bit intimidating.
Yeah, what I find actually with Jerry's paintings, either you love them or you hate them. So Anne-Marie and Nell like it, and they love it.
Agata, is it by choice or by design that you have left the vegetable garden out?
I decided not to use a vegetable garden in one of the flower beds because of the marley, but I designed my shed with the see-through roof to use the top part of the shed as a sort of greenhouse. So if Anne-Marie and Niall would like to grow some vegetables, they could do it on the top shelves of the greenhouse and shed.
When we looked at the plan, we weren't quite sure of what was going where. Did you get your clients to agree to everything in the initial plan?
Yes, I did.
The actual plan that they agreed to, that you presented, that we saw, is this the garden we're now sitting in?
It's not exactly the same.
Not exactly the same?
Yes.
Did Anne-Marie and Niall agree to all the changes you made from your original plan?
Yes, they did.
Thanks very much.
Agata has faced down the judges and defended her design.
It was quite hard, but I think it went good. The questions they were asking about everything.
The elephant in the room here is the finish, or lack of. I think it's deplorable and it's disappointing because there are such strong design features, ideas in the garden, but the finish is just very, very poor.
Maybe not obvious, but I was expecting that type of questions.
I would love to come home in the evening, to rush out, sit down and relax here.
I couldn't read it from their face, but I kind of felt that there is a chance for me to get to bloom, so I just crossed the fingers.
Anne-Marie, Niall and Marley the dog now have their new garden, and it's made a big impression.
It's everything I wanted. Clean lines, modern, it's fresh, it's beautiful, beautiful.
I think the four-legged friend is going to love it. I think it's going to be his little version of Disneyland. Like, I think it's a prize-winning garden, like I really do.
It's definitely a winner.
Niall and Anne-Marie now have their unique statement garden. It's Agata's entry into the Super Garden competition. Will this be the winning garden? Or will it be the contemporary sun trap created by Emer in Mullingar? And can it beat James's eco-friendly urban home for 10 pet ducks? Next week on Super Garden, Padraig, a full-time gardener with an off-duty passion for design, takes up the challenge.
This will be the main template for the rest of the garden. Keep telling you. All right, Peter.
He comes to Skerries to create a cottage garden with a contemporary twist. For details on what went into making Agata's garden, go to rte.ie/supergarden.
Super Garden, proudly sponsored by Growwise from Borden and Mona and Woody's DIY and Garden Centres.